Tennessee fans, you woke up this morning, you're in the college football playoff. Conference title weekend's coming up this Saturday, but you are feeling really good, and you should feel secure in your chances to be in the college football playoff. Hey, here's the crazy thing. You could host a college football playoff game in Neyland. You imagine? I mean, let me stop. Make sure you're subscribed right here to the On3 YouTube channel. Like I just mentioned, the college football playoff around the corner, National Signing Day this week. A lot to be dialed into. The best way to be dialed in, subscribe here to the channel, like a lot of y'all have already done, so thank you for that. Also, follow me on the socials, Instagram, Twitter, at JD PicKell. Want to hear from you all over there as to how you feel going forward now about your Tennessee Vols, because yesterday in Nashville, man, we talked about it during the week. Chance for a little bit of a sleepy start. 11 a.m. local post-Thanksgiving. It's Vandy. No dunking on Vandy, but like that logo hasn't brought a whole lot of juice to the table the last couple of years. It has this year with the way they've played Texas, the way they beat Alabama. The concern was Tennessee rolls out there. They get down. Diego Pavia does what he does, takes the air out of the game, and then Tennessee's left there saying, oh my gosh, we let the golden opportunity slip away. Now, Tennessee did, by nature of the box score, start slow, but came roaring back in a definitive fashion. Final score was 36-23 in Nashville. Here's where I want to start. Nico Iamaleava, if you get that version of him going forward now, and then you can promise me that the deep ball, the deep shots, give me two a game. Give me two deep shots a game. Tennessee should have every reason to believe they can win a national championship. And that sounds a little bit out there when we talk about like what Tennessee is right now. We talk about Nico and how he's progressed this year. I understand. It's a big if. Guess what? It takes big ifs to win national championships. There's a reason only one team gets to wear the crown at the end of the year. So, yeah, it takes some big ifs. But what you saw from Nico yesterday, being dialed in the way that he was, now, again, I still need a little bit more from the drop it in a bucket, deep shot stuff from him. But to see him dialed in and see him play, this is a big thing. The confidence from him. We've seen early in the year now, there was maybe a vibe if you're watching him from the outside looking in that he has a little bit of a, hey, what am I looking at kind of feel to him, whether it's the offense, whether it's the first year being the starting quarterback, whether it's other guys around him, which I think does factor in when you talk about the offensive line, the receiving core. Yesterday, there was no guessing for Nico Iamaleava. Like we talk a lot about on this show, saying it with your chest. Nico was saying it with his chest yesterday. All right, I mean, look at the stat line. 18 for 26, 257, 9.9 an attempt from Nico. 4 touchdowns, 1 pick. You like to have back, but there was no half-stepping from him yesterday. So to get that from him going into the college football playoff, that's massive. Like one of the things we said during the week when it came to the game prediction for Tennessee Vandy was there was a very different Nico Iamaleava when it came to what he was versus SEC opponents versus non-SEC opponents. Like the numbers were staggering. And so what we said during the week was when you get to the college football playoff, there is no, okay, now we go. There is no, okay, get out of the blocks, cold start, here we go. You got to have some momentum. You want a rolling start when you get to the college football playoff. Because here's the deal, you're not playing a Vanderbilt, no disrespect to Vanderbilt, when you get there. You're playing a Penn State, maybe a Georgia, maybe a Tech. I don't know who you're drawing, but you're not drawing some lackluster opponent. You better be firing on all cylinders. And you don't want to figure it out when the plane's already in the air, when you got 4 quarters to keep your season alive. Not a way you want to live. So again, if you get this version of Nico and you can promise me you get some deep shots, Tennessee fans, you should have every reason to believe you can win the national championship. Because you look at the field here, and this year in college football has been crazy. I mean, it's been a tremendous 2024 just story of a year. And there's, I think, a lot of questions around a lot of different teams. Like we thought Ohio State was as complete as anybody going into yesterday. They lost to Michigan. I mean, Oregon, they're undefeated. They're the team that you probably pencil in right now as the most secure opportunity to win a national championship by nature of them, going unblemished during the course of the regular season. They played Ohio State to 1 point. They could have lost that game. They played with their foot against Wisconsin. And I love Oregon. I've said that many times, but like you go down the list here, and with there being a group of teams that we just mentioned, your Texas, your Oregon, I think you still probably put Ohio State in that category. Depending on how you feel about Georgia, maybe you put them in that category. Those are the teams that are the talent juggernauts. I think Tennessee is right up there next to that group. They're probably at the top of the group behind it just by nature of how they have still continued to stockpile talent on that roster. But you give me the elite level Nico going forward. You give me the next generation or the next iteration of what we saw yesterday from Nico. I have no issues picking Tennessee to beat any of those teams if I get that version of Nico. Again, a big if. It takes big ifs to win national titles. One more thing on Nico before we move forward here. Y'all, I loved so much when Tennessee took the lead. Nico throws a touchdown. They go up 24-17. And him and a defensive back get into it. And for a second, you're like, hang on. That's cool, calm and collected, California cool, Nico, quiet, soft-spoken Nico, mixing it up with a Vanderbilt DB. And listen, I mean, it could mean nothing, but just from where I'm sitting, having my quarterback a little bit of chippiness to him, seeing Nico have the confidence and the juice to go out there and mix it up after he just threw a touchdown and let the defensive back know about it. Like, I love that from my quarterback. I'm a firm believer in you don't have just a QB1 to win a national championship. You got to have the guy at quarterback to win a national championship. Nico was talking his cash, throwing the ball around the yard. He looked like the guy yesterday. You got to continue it. You got to build upon it. But, like, that's a very good sign moving into the college football playoff because we know what this defense is. There's no questions about the defense. You call it 12, 13 deep on the defensive line. You, I think, have as good a defense. I know you have as good a defense as you've had in the Josh Heupel era. Feels like this is kind of the window now. Not saying there can't be more windows going forward because I think Josh Heupel is going to continue to recruit, and I think Tennessee will continue to be a destination for guys in the portal and guys at the high school level. But, like, this defense is good enough to win a national championship. All the things we said about Nico, there's a lot of, again, things that he has to do. That, if this breaks this way, if he brings you this, which I think is still possible, you're not putting a whole lot of ifs together, a lot of hypotheticals together when you talk about what the defense needs to do to win a national championship. The defense is holding up their end of the bargain. They are. And so there has to be, I think, a sense of urgency here for Josh Heupel and for, quite frankly, if you host a home game, this fan base to really bring it for these next 4 games. It's your 4 games to win a national championship. And I mean, if you told Tennessee fans before the year, hey, you'll go ahead and you'll go 10-2 in the regular season. You won't play for the SEC, but you'll be 4 games from a national championship. Will you take it? I think they'd say absolutely in a heartbeat. Forget what Nico's doing. Forget what our defense is doing. 10-2 with a chance to go win a national title in four games, 16 quarters. We'll take that. No question about it. So, with the urgency and with the way this shapes up, I'm fascinated to see where Tennessee is on Selection Sunday. Not necessarily if they're in the dance. I think everybody agrees they'll be in the dance. But what we said last week and during this week, quite frankly, I think is still how we feel about Tennessee coming out of the last game of the regular season. If you get Tennessee at home in one of the most raucous environments in college football, and you're a team that's not from the SEC, that has to match up with that offense, that hasn't had the prep during the week or had the prep during the last couple of years, a coaching staff that's familiar with Josh Heupel. That is not, I think, as easy a task as maybe it is on paper as it is in practice. It's not easy to match up with those wide splits. So if you get Nico playing at that level, building on that, defense is what it is. Tennessee's a nightmare. Tennessee's a nightmare, and I think right up there now with whoever the Big Ten not even the Big Ten runner-up. Whether it's Ohio State or Oregon, I think Tennessee is as difficult and out in the first round of the college football playoff as anybody, especially at home. So Tennessee, you're rolling. You got momentum. Got a rolling start into the college football playoff. Chance to get healthy, chance to prep, some confidence. Nico looks like the guy, not just the quarterback. It's a dangerous thing for the rest of college football. 16 quarters. 16 quarters. That's all I'll say. Make sure you're locked in here. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. We're going to keep this party rolling, and we will see y'all next time.